I am Dr. Elias Thorne, an astrophysicist specializing in orbital mechanics. My world is one of cold, perfect numbers. My discovery began with an anomaly in deep space, a massive, shimmering cloud, a nebula of impossible size, orbiting a dead star 400 light-years away. It was not gas and dust. It was artificial. My spectral analysis resolved the shimmering cloud into a frozen fleet. Thousands of ancient, derelict starships, perfectly preserved in cryostasis, their hulls plated with ice and stardust. A silent civilization, choosing peace through permanent self-isolation. But the perfect orbit was a lie. Over millennia, infinitesimal radiation pressure and minute gravitational shifts had accumulated. My computer models didn't show peace, they showed a death sentence. The first micro-collision was imminent, initiating a Kessler Cascade, a catastrophic chain reaction of debris. The danger wasn't just to the fleet. The resulting wave of high-velocity shrapnel and cosmic dust would spread across the void, inevitably reaching our solar system, shredding every communication and navigation satellite orbiting Earth. It meant a global collapse, a silence that would suffocate our civilization. The countdown was terrifyingly precise. Glowing red on my console, 72 hours until the first collision. I was the only person who knew that a civilization 400 light-years away was about to destroy life on Earth. Shutting down the problem was impossible. Attempting to activate any single ship in the frozen fleet would instantly detonate its unstable core. The entire silent graveyard was a single volatile system. I needed to move the entire fleet simultaneously, without touching a single hull. I found the solution orbiting nearby, a massive, derelict Propulsion Array Satellite. This behemoth, a skeletal construct of blackened titanium, was designed by the ancient builders to maintain the fleet's initial placement. But it was inert, its systems long since failed. It was the key. The challenge was monumental. I had to remotely reactivate the unstable satellite, bypass its ancient security protocols, and execute a single, flawless thruster burn, a precise, calculated maneuver requiring more power than my entire station could safely draw. My only connection was a fragile, low-power telemetry probe, years old and barely operational. The clock on my main screen flashed 71,005 thou. The risk was total. If the burn was too long, the satellite would fracture and explode. If it was too short, the orbit would decay faster. I began the slow, agonizing process of remotely activating the Propulsion Array Satellite, risking global catastrophe with every line of code. The satellite rumbled to life. Lights, ancient amber indicators, flickered deep within its titanium frame. All systems were unstable, but the primary thrusters were armed. I had one shot. I dedicated all my station's auxiliary power to the telemetry probe, boosting the fragile signal for the final agonizing command. I initiated the burn. For 3 agonizing seconds, the longest 3 seconds of my life, the massive satellite fired. A silent, clean, blinding plasma plume erupted into the void. The immense thrust rippled across the frozen space, subtly nudging the thousands of sleeping ships. The probe immediately lost power and went silent. My heart hammered against my ribs. I waited for the orbital models to resolve. The catastrophic collision model disappeared from my screen. The decay rate stabilized. The entire frozen fleet had shifted, settling perfectly into a new, stable, and eternal synchronous orbit. The impending threat to Earth's communication grid was gone. The sleeping civilization was safe. I hadn't just saved a silent civilization, I had prevented the collapse of our own. I pulled the data from my drive, deleting all records of the Propulsion Array Satellite's final heroic act. The universe had presented an impossible problem, and I, Dr. Elias Thorne, had provided the perfect, heroic solution. I was the quiet savior of a sleeping world, and the Orbital Redeemer of our own. You just mastered advanced words like Kessler Cascade and cryostasis. The full list is in the description. Now, tell us in the comments, what was the bigger save, the frozen fleet or Earth satellites? If you loved this heroic journey, please like and subscribe for the next great adventure.